In this video, we will walk you through the complete Microsoft CSP tenant onboarding journey in CloudQuarks. Before you can provision Microsoft 365 or Azure subscriptions under the CSP program, your customer must have a Microsoft tenant linked to their profile. There are two possible scenarios. The customer does not have a Microsoft tenant. In this case, you will create a new tenant. The customer already has an existing Microsoft tenant. In this case, you will link that tenant to the platform. Let's walk through both scenarios. Part 1. Navigating to Tenant Management. Navigate to Customer Management and then Customers. Locate and select the required end customer. If the customer record does not exist, create the customer first. Once inside the customer profile, go to the Organization and Tenants section. This section displays all tenants currently associated with the customer. To proceed, click Add Tenant. You will now choose whether to create a new tenant or link an existing one. Scenario A, creating a new Microsoft tenant. Choose Create New Tenant under the Microsoft CSP brand. Step 1, enter domain name. You will be prompted to enter a domain name. This is typically based on the customer's company name or a unique identifier and will be automatically suffixed with .onmicrosoft.com. For example, customername.onmicrosoft.com, click Check Availability. The system validates domain availability with Microsoft. If available, you may proceed. If unavailable, choose a different domain. Once confirmed, save and continue. Step 2, Tax ID validation, if applicable. Depending on the customer's country, you may be required to enter a valid tax registration ID. If required, enter the correct tax ID and proceed. If not required, you may skip this step. Step 3, Microsoft Customer Agreement, MCA. Since this is a new tenant, Microsoft requires acceptance of the Microsoft Customer Agreement before CSP subscriptions can be provisioned. You will see two compliance options. Option 1, Customer Direct Acceptance. The customer accepts the agreement directly through their Microsoft environment. Option 2, Partner Attestation. If you manage the tenant on behalf of the customer, you may complete an attestation form. After submitting the form, the agreement text will be displayed. You must review and formally accept the agreement. Once MCA compliance is completed, proceed. Step 4, Tenant Creation. The system will now initiate tenant creation with Microsoft. Please do not close the window during this process. Once completed, the platform will display tenant details, initial login credentials, temporary password. The password must be changed upon first login. You may securely share these credentials with the customer or retain them if you are managing the tenant. Next, enter primary contact details for the tenant, optional nickname for easier identification. Save the information. The new tenant will now appear in the tenant listing. At this point, tenant creation is complete, and you may proceed with CSP orders. Linking an existing Microsoft tenant. If your customer already has a Microsoft tenant, select Existing Tenant under the Microsoft CSP brand. Step 1, enter Tenant ID. You will be prompted to enter the Tenant ID. The Tenant ID is a unique 36-character alphanumeric identifier assigned by Microsoft. Enter the Tenant ID in the provided field. The system will now verify whether this tenant is already linked with Redington. Step 2, Tenant Verification Outcomes. There are two possible outcomes. Scenario 1, tenant already linked. If the tenant is already linked, the system will display the tenant details, validate the information, save the entry. No additional steps are required. Scenario 2, tenant not yet linked. If the tenant ID is valid but not currently linked, the system will generate an invitation URL. You must copy this invitation link, share it with the customer. The customer must open the link and accept it using admin credentials of the same tenant. It is important that the invitation is accepted under the exact tenant ID entered. Once accepted, return to the platform and retry the linking process. The system will now detect the relationship and allow you to save the tenant. Step 3, Microsoft Customer Agreement, if required. After linking, the system checks the Microsoft Customer Agreement status. If the agreement has not yet been accepted, you must complete MCA compliance. You may choose Customer Direct Acceptance Partner Attestation. Once MCA is accepted, the compliance requirement is satisfied. Final step: tenant listing and order readiness. Whether you created a new tenant or linked an existing one, the tenant will now appear in the organization and tenants listing under the customer. From here, you can view tenant details, check tenant status, verify MCA status review. Agreement details: the tenant is now fully onboarded and ready. You may proceed to purchase and provision Microsoft CSP subscriptions for the customer under the linked tenant.